I have reviewed a lot of watches over the last 5 years of running this channel, and something I've noticed is the watches people regret buying aren't necessarily bad watches. They're just exciting for a time watches, which is a very different proposition from watches that will still make you smile a decade later. We are going to break this video up into 3 sections because that's just how my brain works. And as a disclaimer, I am not omniscient, despite the rumors, which so many people believe to be true. I can't tell you which watches you'll regret and not regret, but these I think are the most regret-proof. So let's start with the most obvious section. This is when a design has stood the test of time. For decades, people have loved a certain watch, and that's because, as an object, it is great. Think the Rolex Submariner, Rolex Explorer, Cartier Tank, Breitling Navitimer, Omega Seamaster. We already kinda know these, insert icon here, but I'd love to throw in some less obvious examples as well. First, IWC and Pilot's watches. I couldn't decide between the Big Pilot or the IWC Mark 20, so I thought let's just call it a Pilot's watch. I think IWC can command this category. It's a genre they dominate, and I deeply associate with them. Owners almost universally adore them. It's almost aggressively sensible, no nonsense, just the information you need to know. 2. The Tag Heuer Carrera chronograph. The Carrera chronograph isn't the most famous Tag Heuer. That title is probably reserved for the Monaco, but the Carrera has remained relevant for over 60 years without relying on nostalgia or trends. Originally designed by Jack Heuer in 1963, this feels unlike many sports chronographs. It isn't oversized or aggressive, flashy colors, but rather balanced dial layout and restrained design. Okay, last one of section 1, and it feels like a little bit of a cop-out to say whatever watch you feel drawn to. But honestly, sometimes I feel like lists like this are so stupid, because each collector, each person, your tastes are so unique and personal to you. You won't regret buying the things that align with what your eyeballs actually like. For some people, it's a busy, garish Richard Mille or Hublot, or for others, it's restrained Rolex Explorers or Patek Philippe. The number one rule of watch collecting is buy what you love. For some reason, enthusiasts mean buy what you love, as long as it aligns with what we as a community decide we liked. It's your hard-earned money. Buy what you like. You probably won't regret it. Moving on to section 2, let's talk about milestone watches. And I think this is the biggest reason why people buy a fancy watch and keep loving them, because it grows to represent more than just the sum of its parts. Wow, I really tripped over that sentence. But it becomes not just a watch anymore, it's a little memory holder. And I think this gives us a wider definition of what milestone could be. Maybe it's exactly where our brains go to in the first place, like getting a big job promotion at work, retirement, maybe it's your wedding. Or it could be something even bigger. It's grown to have a bigger meaning, although you didn't buy it for a specific purpose, if that makes sense. I have a few of these. So first up, my Tag Heuer Formula 1. I feel like I'm the person on the internet who talks about these the most, and I'm kind of becoming a collector of these. I really didn't have a specific reason for buying this. I just liked it for some time. I had a little bit of extra money, it felt nostalgic, but now it's grown to mean something so much more. So it's the watch I was wearing when I went to the hospital to give birth to my son. I didn't keep it on during the birth. I had a lot going on, but it was also the watch I was wearing when I left the hospital. So when I went in as a pregnant lady and came out as a mom. When he was young, I'd use the bezel to time how long until his next feeding, or how long to wait to let the bottles cool down. It feels a little bit silly to say it was a tool for me, but it really was used as a tool watch for someone who was in the trenches of early motherhood. And it's grown to mean so much more than just a plastic bezel kind of silly watch. Its specialness to me has been something that's just for me to know. I don't think many people would look at me wearing this at face value and know how much it means to me. Next, my Rolex Oyster Perpetual. If you watch this channel, you'll already know this was my first Rolex, which is already a very meaningful thing to most people who didn't grow up with crazy levels of money. It was a really big moment and milestone to be in the position to buy something like this. And it was also the watch I was wearing when I got into a horrible bike accident. I talk about this all the time. I never know if it's too much, but it became a really important foundational moment for me. So I was hit by a car when I was riding my bicycle back in 2023. I was wearing this watch. It was in the hospital with me. I kept thinking I lost it in the hospital, but I didn't. My husband brought it home. Get a partner who remembers to take your watch away from the hospital. Okay, the Omega Speedmaster. It's along those same lines. Horrible bike accident. I broke my jaw, I broke my hip, so I couldn't walk and I couldn't talk, or at least I couldn't talk very well. My husband said he's never liked me more. That's a poor taste joke. But for real, I was probably in the lowest place I'd ever been in, emotionally, physically. I was living in overwhelming pain. This whole ordeal actually made me understand pain in a way that I never understood it before. I now know that you don't know agony and suffering and just the depths of pain until you experience it. And even now that I'm on the other side of it, when I talk to people who are actually living in pain, it's hard to remember that time. You don't understand it until you're in it. But yeah, during this time, my good friend Owl gifted me this watch, an Omega Speedmaster, wishing me a speedy recovery. It's the nicest gift I've ever received, and it gave me joy and warmth in a period where I didn't have a lot of that. Can we get a little happier now? The Cartier Santos. For me, this is the classic milestone watch. I got this as a gift for my 30th birthday from my husband. I was kind of feeling weird about turning 30. It felt very adult and I was dreading it. But this watch marked that time in my life. It marked that milestone, and my 30s have been awesome. Watches are expensive and precious, and it's all the more sweet when they are marking something big and special and momentous in your life. I don't know how to say this in not a cringe way, so we're going to embrace the cringe. A watch that makes you feel curious. And a lot of these are kind of expensive, but they're not exclusively expensive. Let's get the crazy price stuff out of the way first. Number 1, the Parmigiani Fleurier Secret GMT. This is maybe one of the most quietly ingenious watches ever made. At first glance, it looks like an elegant 3-hand sports watch. Clean, no clutter, no bright, oversized color GMT hand. But then when traveling, you press the discreet pusher, and a second hand appears from underneath. It is very Parmigiani. Their whole thing is minimalism, but done to the highest degree. The pusher is fantastic, and it's a watch I love more every time I look at it. Does anyone remember the Cartier Mystérieux they released back in 2022, where the entire movement was contained within the rotor? I think the Parmigiani keeps you curious because it hides the complication from you, whereas this keeps you curious because your brain can't accept what you're seeing. So it isn't attached to an oscillating weight. The oscillating weight is the movement, and it floats around the center of the watch, appearing disconnected from everything else. It feels like a magic trick more than watchmaking. Okay, Ressence, we need to talk about them. I think Ressence completely reinterpreted what a watch dial is and how one should read the time. So their big thing is ROCS, or Resonance Orbital Convex System, which is a highly complex mechanical module that replaces normal traditional hands with a series of continuously revolving nested discs, creating a fluid, ever-changing dial where hours, minutes, and seconds orbit each other. There is no traditional dial or hands, it's just constant motion. I'd imagine this is the kind of watch that stays with you. But they don't always have to be crazy expensive options. There's lots of affordable, exciting things that keep you curious. My brain first goes to the Brew metric. It's so weird being the espresso timing take on the telephone style chronograph. Or the Christopher Ward Bel Canto. Actually, it's still a pretty expensive watch, but it is the coolest chiming watch, a heavily modified movement designed like no other. Even something like this, Fear's Jump Hour, another heavily modified movement, in an understated, dressy, and very fierce package. but weirdly kind of sporty for them. Anyways, guys, I said it at the beginning of the video, I'm not a prophet. I can't say which watches you'll regret and not regret, but I think following this framework will help you find the least amount of regret possible. Hopefully. I'd love to know in the comments down below. I have so many viewers who have been long-term collectors. What are the most regret-proof watches for you? What are the watches you've never regretted and why? I can't wait to read your comments. I think there's going to be some good ones. Thank you so much for your viewership, and we'll see you in the next one. How dare I not say Pope tier patrons put their names on my face? Put them on my face right now. Oh yeah, this is the highest tier of patrons. This channel is run on people who like what I'm doing and decide to support it financially. Thank you so much, guys. Whether you're new here, whether you've been here for a long time, thank you so much for keeping this channel afloat. We'll see you in the next one. I hope you keep enjoying the work. Bye, guys. Thank you.